The 2017 NBA draft is in the books, and 60 players will get their shot at being NBA stars. All draft picks aren't created equal, however. So the three of us have graded every team's selections. Some teams hit home runs, and some teams, well, they completely missed the mark. Here is our complete list of grades for every team's draft picks in the 2017 NBA draft. Welcome to this very special edition of Strictly Sports as we recap the 2017 NBA draft. Hello, friends. Anthony Florio here with you for our NBA draft recap. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. Michael Bullock is here. They're here as well. We're not going to dilly-dally. Let's jump right on in. And we started off with our first team, the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks selected John Collins out of Wake Forest, Tyler Dorsey out of Oregon, and Alpha Kaba of Megalex in France. So how did the Atlanta Hawks come out with the grade here? I'm just going to give it a solid B+. Atlanta should get better with the selections of Wake Forest, John Collins, Oregon's Tyler Dorsey, and Alpha Kaba of France. Collins could be a bit of a project, but he's a solid value late in round one. So that's really all I can say about Atlanta. So solid B+ for the Atlanta Hawks. So with that being said, Michael Fletcher, good old MF, Mr. NBA. Normally at this time of the year, I see you on social media. You're posting all over the place. But I'm guessing because of your work commitments, you weren't able to. But I'm sure you had a tab on it anywho.
Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, I missed almost all of the first round, but I was able to see the second round of the draft and last night. And I'm going to be real honest with you. I did play back. I did see all the picks. I got the feel from all the experts, including, some others that we listen to, ESPN, NBA TV, and, some of the others like Yahoo Sports, the whole 9 yards. Then I'm going to go with you on this one. This is about a B+. I think this was a very good draft for Atlanta. They really going to need to do something now because they did get rid of Dwight Howard. They sent him in a trade to the Charlotte Hornets. So now we got to see what happens. And it looks like Atlanta might be on the verge of a rebuild. So more than anything else, you're going to see certain teams that's going to be on a rebuilding look. So we're going to have to wait and see how that comes out. But for me, I like the pick. I liked what they're doing. It's a step in the right direction. Now let's see how Atlanta will maximize the situation once it gets into free agency. So with that said, let's toss it off with our buddy Michael Bullock. So Nomar, front and center, my friend, what do you think about the Atlanta Hawks? What did you think they did in the NBA draft?
I thought they had a good draft. I mean, not a great one, but I do agree. I'm going to give this a solid B+ as well. I mean, with the trade of Dwight Howard and Paul Millsap, of course, going into free agency. I mean, and the thing is, they got John Collins, who was a good inside scorer and helps put another body in this sparse front court. And then they took Tyler Dorsey in the second round, who was a great shooter and a shot creator, could definitely find a permanent role off the Atlanta bench, providing a spark offensively. And then, of course, they took Alpha Kaba, who ironically was Mr. Irrelevant. He's a power forward with a 7'5" wingspan and a small forward mindset. The odds are against him, obviously, are against him ever making it in the league, but his physical attributes basically give him a chance. So it's a B+ for me. So, Floria, let's move on it's my team, the Boston Celtics.
We got a lot to say about the Boston Celtics now, don't we? Despite owning the best record in the entire Eastern Conference the previous season, the Celtics would win themselves the number one pick due to that, in the NBA draft lottery, but they gave it up. They traded that to the Philadelphia 76ers, so they settled for the number 3 spot. And here are their picks as follows. Jason Tatum out of Duke, Semi Ojeleye out of SMU, Kadeem Allen out of Arizona, and Jabari Bird out of Cal. So I believe it's MF who starts it off. So MF, how did Mr. Bullock Celtics do with their draft this time around, despite trading away the number 1 pick?
Can't.
Yep, I can hear you. MF, are you having issues?
I guess it looks like he is having issues.
Yeah, I guess MF is having audio difficulties. So, Michael Bullock, let's start it off with you. How did your team do?
All right.
Is MF back in? MF, are you back? I take it. MF's still having some problems. So, Michael Bullock, let's. MF.
All right, I'm back.
All right.
Oh, there you are.
MF can start it off now. All right, MF. Boston Celtics. How did Bullock's team do?
I was gonna try to get some notes, but my stinking internet is acting up like I wouldn't even believe right now. So I need to be pissed off tonight of all night. Like, I need any more ammunition for what's about to happen. Not with Boston, but with the team down the line. I'm really ticked off with a certain team, and I'm gonna go off tonight. But for the Boston Celtics, Michael Bullock, take a victory lap. Applaud yourselves. Your team did a great job in the draft. An A- in my eyes. Jason Tatum from Duke University, tremendous pick. Great pick. Glorious pick in my eyes. I'm going to say it. He fits for the system of what the Boston Celtics need. You need rebounding. You need scoring. That's the one thing I think Boston was lacking last year. They didn't have a low post presence. Now they got it with Jason Tatum. He's a shot blocker. He's a rebounder. He gives you some good shots. He'll give you some good opportunities, which is great. And to combine him with Isaiah Thomas, with some other players, I understand that was a great move for them, and that was a perfect move. I know a lot of people are really ticked off with Boston because, you heard all these rumors about, first you heard the rumors about maybe the Jimmy Butler thing, and then there was the Paul George, Kristaps Porzingis, and none of it happened. All right, Boston, I understand you're a little upset because you're thinking, oh, we could probably get one of these big guys. Well, they did get rid of the number 1 overall pick. They gave it to Philadelphia, but they also maximized as well because they did a good job at the end of the day because they did get more picks to work later on. Now, the second round picks, I'm a little nervous because they're not guarantees. Only first round only. Those are guaranteed. Those will be linked. You're on the team no matter what. On the second tier, when you're in that second round, all those remaining picks that you talked about, Anthony, in that round 2, they might never be Boston Celtics. They either could be at the D League, which means they go to Maine, or they might not even make the team at all. They got to prove themselves in the Summer League. So they're not official Boston Celtic members. The only one who is Jason Tatum. Tatum is legit. He's big time. And if he stays healthy, that's the key, Boston. If he stays healthy, this guy could be the rookie of the year. A- for my pick. Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
All right. Yeah, I do agree. I think it's an A- as well. I thought the Celtics they certainly had a pretty good draft to say the very least. So yeah, that Tatum guy, whoo, man, I've heard some pretty good things about him, and yeah, they basically said about Jason Tatum. He is basically NBA ready, and I believe in that. Yes, and then of course, some of the other picks. I do have some question marks, but the thing is, the Tatum pick, I think I really I really liked it, and yeah, so and A minus for me, and yeah, certainly I would have to say one of the big winners from the from excuse me from the draft, if I'm going to be quite honest. So nothing else to say. I'm just gonna toss it up to you, Anthony.
I'll make it unanimous, A minus as well. I mean, the Celtics, they seem to have been locked in on Tatum for a while. So trading back and getting a future asset from Philadelphia was wise. The team essentially got a future first and the guy it would have taken at number one anyways. So yes, absolutely. So I definitely agree. I mean, you guys made all the points for me, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. So because our draft recap shows tend to run very long, and we're not gonna let that happen here tonight. So with that being said, let's move on to our next team, and that team is the Celtics, one of the Celtics divisional rivals, the Brooklyn Nets, and the Brooklyn Nets only had a couple of picks, and they selected Jarrett Allen out of Texas and Alexander Vezenkov from FC Barcelona. That's who they selected, and they also traded the 27th pick to acquire D'Angelo Russell and Timothy Mozgov from the Lakers. So let's not forget that. So based on all that, Michael Bullock, as we start with you, based on all those schematics, how did the Brooklyn Nets do in your eyes? Bullock, are you with us?
Oh, I'm here. I just forgot to unmute my mic. So yeah, yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah. Actually, can you take this for a spin? I'm having a tough time pulling up my notes here.
Yeah, I got it. It's a B for me. Like I said, the Nets traded the 27th pick to acquire D'Angelo Russell and Timothy Mozgov from the Lakers, and then the team took a chance on former Texas center Jarrett Allen. If Allen is able to reach his full potential, this will be looked back on as a successful haul. So, no question about that. So, it's a solid B for me when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets. So I don't know if Bullock is ready yet, or if I should just give it to MF. So, what is it, Bullock?
Oh, yeah, you better give it to
To MF, yeah. All right,
yeah.
all right, MF. You're great for the Brooklyn Nets. Solid B for me.
I think it was a solid B as well. I really liked what they did. I think, again, the player from FC Barcelona, I'm not really sure about that, but I definitely like Allen. I think he was a really good player. I think he's done pretty well. I don't know if he's going to translate in the next level, though. I'm a little worried about that, but I'm pretty sure he'll be very fine. He'll be pretty good. But again, I got nothing bad to say about it. I liked what I saw. I think he's a good player, but I just don't know what we're gonna see. I mean, as far as Brooklyn goes, I definitely like the fact that they got I really liked that they got Russell and they got Timothy Mozgov. That was really good, a really good trade for them, and I think they won that trade because going over to the Lakers, they only gave up Brook Lopez, and quite frankly, I like what they did. That was a great move by Brooklyn. So I think Brooklyn will be all right. I just don't think that they're going to do much, though. I'm sorry to say. We'll just have to wait and see. So with that said, Anthony, let's go on to the next team.
Well, we still have
Michael Bullock, back to you.
All right. Well, what was your guys' rating?
Solid B.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a stop. I gotta give it a solid B as well. I mean, I agree with everything you guys have said. I mean, yeah, I mean, Timothy Mozgov with that trade. I mean, I really liked it, and yeah, so there's basically really nothing more for me to say. So I'm just gonna move on. I'm just gonna move on to you, Florio.
And we're going to move on to our next team, and it's going to be the Charlotte Hornets. And because of Bullock having to, we're going to have to do a reshuffling here. I was originally supposed to lead off here, but MF's going to have to take it for a spin because of Bullock's difficulties. So 2 draft picks on the board for the Hornets. They selected Malik Monk out of Kentucky and Dwayne Bacon out of Florida State. And then, of course, they made a big trade for some center by the name of Dwight Howard, who I heard was when he doesn't have Noggin Diva issues, I hear he's pretty good. So that's all I can say there. So MF, I mean, you were the one who reported the Dwight Howard trade in the first place. So couple that with the draft picks, and Charlotte's grade is
A, and one of the winners of the draft. This was amazing. They got Malik Monk. What a freaking steal to get him at that position, at that level. That was an absolute monster move. Props to you, Michael Jordan. You know what? We've been ripping you for a number of years about being a pretty crappy general manager. My friend, you got yourself a gem of a player, a very good point guard from Kentucky, a one-and-done guy, but the guy has been unbelievable all season long. I got nothing bad to say about that. And then on top of that, you turn around and you get Bacon. Bacon's not bad of a player, pretty good player, not bad. I'm not going to argue with that. I think he, I don't know if he'll be better or not, but to get Dwight Howard in that trade. Now, I know a lot of people were flipping out on saying that Atlanta won the trade. I don't think so. If Dwight Howard is healthy, plays in a level that is better, and probably in a better system, I think this guy will be a monster, and I truly believe he will be a big-time player. Matching him with Monk, that is definitely going to be a sign of a good situation. Even better for me. A win of the draft goes to the Charlotte Hornets. Michael Bullock, I give it to you. I gave the Hornets an A. Mike? Uh-oh.
Damn, I can't unmute my mic.
Okay, you're good. You're up.
Yeah.
I gave the Hornets an A.
Yeah, I got to give them an A as well, and definitely another one of the winners of this draft. So yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, Malik Monk was definitely one of the big steals of this. I mean, definitely was a good pick here. So yeah, so. There's really nothing more to say. You pretty much touched on everything, Fletch. So, and definitely was one of the big winners of this draft. So, it's an A for me. So, Florio, it is yours.
We'll make it unanimous one more time. It's a solid A, no question about it. Charlotte made one good move by ending former Kentucky scorer Malik Monk's fall at number 11 in the first round. They then made another good move by trading to acquire Florida State's Dwayne Bacon. All in all, a good day for the Hornets. And we also covered the Dwight Howard deal. So that's an A, no question about that. All right. Batten down the hatches, folks, because we're about to get into, without question, the biggest loser of the NBA draft. Not just in this draft, but maybe the biggest loser in the history of the NBA draft. And if it wasn't for Michael Bullock's difficulties, MF would have been starting this off. But, well, we're going to be saving you for last, MF, on this one. And we got Bullock back in. So, Bullock, you're going to be leading off on, without question, the biggest loser of this NBA draft. The Chicago Bulls, of course, we all know. One pick, they drafted Lauri Markkanen out of Arizona. And then, of course, they also traded Jimmy Butler to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And in return, they acquired Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine. So, Michael Bullock, We started off with you, the Chicago Bulls. We're all in agreement. They were the biggest loser of this draft by a country mile.
Boy, you could say that right now. The biggest losers of probably the biggest loser of this draft. I mean, I'm gonna say I'm giving them a big fat F on this one. I mean, Lauri Markkanen, I mean, he is an elite shooter at 7 feet. He has a quick release, deep range, and should be a nice fit for a Chicago team that desperately needs shooters. The problem is Markkanen is a liability on the glass and defensive end and doesn't have the versatility that's valued in the modern NBA. I'd rather have Monk or Dennis Smith Jr. than Markkanen or Chris Dunn. Of course, I'd rather have Jimmy Butler than all of them. And of course, we all know what happened. I mean, the trading of Jimmy Butler to the Minnesota Timberwolves. And to me, the Minnesota Timberwolves, they were the winners of this trade. And the Chicago Bulls, they look like a bunch of bleeping losers in this one. So it's a big fat, and I do mean a big fat F for your Chicago Bulls. Sorry to say that. So, boy, Chicago Bulls, you really screwed up on this one big time. So, Florio, you're one of the biggest Bulls fans, but I'm sure for that night you weren't after what they did. So,
no, indeed
you're going to go off on this team. Go right ahead.
No, we're going to save that for MF because MF's ready to unleash. He's ready to go. We're going to get a Cerebral Viper rant, no doubt about this.
I'm ready to sound the alarm right now. So once we get to him, I'm going to sound the alarm.
Fair enough. But let me get in my thoughts on this. 100% agree again. Big fat F, absolutely. And far and away the biggest loser of this draft. Trading for today's version of Dwight Howard was questionable. The Bulls trading of star Jimmy Butler was ridiculously stupid. Former Arizona big man Lauri Markkanen may one day be a quality player, but he is not a game changer like Butler can be. The players acquired from the Minnesota Timberwolves, Chris Dunn and Zach LaVine, are good, but not overly great, even though I love them both. And remember, Zach LaVine is coming off a torn ACL. How is he going to be? So let's keep all that in mind when the new season starts. So there is absolutely no ifs, ands, or buts about this. Michael Bullock got it right. I know I got it right. It's a big fat F for the Chicago Bulls, and without question, far and away the biggest loser of this NBA draft. And now, ladies and gentlemen, he's not going to be Gorilla F on this one. He's going to be the Cerebral Viper, at least for this pick. So, Cerebral Viper, unleash.
I don't even know where to begin with this one. Obviously, Chicago was the biggest loser. I mean, they got taken out back, and they got Old Yeller styled. If you don't know what Old Yeller is, find the movie and watch it, and you'll know what happened. Chicago. I cannot effing believe you did this to us again. On the very same day that you traded Derrick Rose to the New York Knicks, you absolutely foul it up by trading undoubtedly your best player, your franchise player, to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Zach LaVine, who's coming off an ACL injury, and Chris Dunn, a guy we love. I love Chris Dunn. When he was playing for Providence College, Anthony Florio was all over this guy, saying how great he was, the whole 9 yards. And you know what? I saw a little bit of tape of him, and I was very excited to see what I saw. But then you do the unthinkable after all these other teams were going after him, and it was almost apparent he was not going anywhere. The whole 9 yards was that, oh, he was going to be firm with Chicago. He loved Chicago. He was loyal to the team. He's saying that he wasn't going to go anywhere because they were shopping him around to different teams, and that everybody else was, it wasn't going to happen because Cleveland was knocking on the door, and he's for Cleveland. No, I'm not going. I'm loyal. I want to stay in Chicago. They're my team and everything else. 24 hours later, he gets traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Just think about that, ladies and gentlemen. He was loyal to Chicago, saying that he was going to stay with the team and he was going to ride with them. And then 24 hours later, he gets dumped unceremoniously to a Minnesota Timberwolves? I can't even wrap my head around it. And you know who the person that told me the trade happened? It was Kaiser Marie Butler. She dropped the nuke on me last night. So I've had about 24 hours to really wrap my brain around this, and I still can't. And all day today on ESPN, on First Take, Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman was ripping Chicago about how idiotic, how stupid of a trade it is. And I cannot believe there was no riots in Chicago. I want to go profanity-laced, but I'm not going to do that out of respect for Anthony Florio. And I'd rather not do that because I do not want to put him in a position where he's got to put a parental guidance, viewer discretion advised warning label on this. I am beyond upset. And normally, even Kaiser Marie Butler is like, well, normally, you know, last year or a couple of years ago, I went to see the Celtics and the Bulls at TD Garden. I don't want to go this year. I'm straight up boycotting any Bulls game. That's how ticked off I am. I'm probably not going to watch the Bulls this year. And that's heartbreaking for me because I've been so loyal to the Bulls since the day I started watching basketball. I got nothing to say to this team. It is a joke. It is despicable. And we deserve better. I don't care what the reasoning behind that trade is. There is no reason for the trade. I got plenty of fire that I want to express and anger, but I don't want to do it in this kind of form tonight. I was so livid, and I still am livid over this. I'll tell you one thing, Anthony. Remember that Chicago Bulls jersey that I had? After I heard that trade, I was so close to throwing it in the garbage. So close from throwing my Chicago Bulls jersey in the garbage and tossing it in the dumpster. That's how angry I am with Chicago. I gotta say it. Guard Foreman and John Paxson, you two morons, are imbeciles. You're idiotic, only thinking about yourselves and not of the city that you represent or the organization that you live in. You should not even be allowed in the UC today, or for that matter, in the city of Chicago. You know what happens when you do some idiotic move like this?
What happens?
I think we know that it's coming.
Do you know what happens when you do this?
Oh, yeah. What happens?
Guard Foreman? John Paxson? You just made a list! I'm done. Florio, go.
I mean, and I'll say this, and I'm gonna go a little Stephen A. Smith mode on this. This is just disgusting right now. This is basically spitting in the face of those legendary teams that the Chicago Bulls had. It's spitting in the face of Michael Jordan. It's spitting in the face of Scottie Pippen and all those other great Chicago Bulls teams. I mean, for this ownership group to make this trade, I mean, I'm surprised that their heads are not served on a silver platter right now, because that's what the Chicago Bulls fan base is probably what they're thinking right now.
Oh, they want the it. Remember
They want
when
blood.
I was talking
They
about
want blood.
remember when I was talking about the pitchforks and the blowtorches and all that other stuff? Trust me, once they found out that trade happened, they're probably thinking pitchforks right now. They're thinking about 2 GM shish kebabs in my mind.
And I'm surprised other members of that ownership, I mean, whoever else is running this team should fire their asses for what they did, for pulling off this trade like this. It is disgusting, it is despicable, and I'm not going to stand for it.
Damn right. That's
I agree.
And for my two boys right here, Anthony Ford and Michael Fletcher, who are diehard Chicago Bulls fans right here, I am
don't forget Matt
for
Ford.
them.
Yeah,
I'm disgusted for them.
But then again, Michael Bullock, let me really, if you really want to know the true mindset of a Chicago Bull, this is nothing new for Chicago. They've done idiotic moves before. And trust me, I know it better than anybody else. And I've had Alex Apatow ripping the Bulls management on more than one occasion for horrific trades. This is by far one of the worst, if not the worst trade they've ever done. So I get it. And your criticism for Chicago is absolutely valid. That's why I'm not arguing with you. I agree with you. But the thing is, I've been here before, and I've seen a lot of garbage coming out of the madhouse on Madison.
And
but let me tell
as
you,
well.
Yeah. So I could tell you, I am beyond disgusted more than anything else. I'm done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I wouldn't be surprised if Chicago Bulls fans, they're probably wanting refunds on their season tickets after this BS move.
I would not be surprised. I don't think they're going to get any more season tickets. I mean, if anybody who is thinking about getting season tickets for the Bulls, just cancel it, because, ladies and gentlemen, I am officially boycotting the Chicago Bulls for the 2017-2018 season. I'm done with the Bulls. I'm done. You hear it here first. I'm making it known right here, right now, tonight, June 23rd, 2017, that at least for one full year, you are not going to see me do anything related to the Chicago Bulls.
And my advice to the Chicago Bulls fans.
Hold on, Michael Bullock. Let me get my thought out, and then I'll let you go. There will be nothing on social media. There will be nothing on my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I will have nothing to do with Chicago. And on top of that, if the Bulls, for some reason, makes the playoffs, which I doubt it, there will not be a Chicago Bulls corner this year on this channel on Strictly Sports. We're done.
And my advice to those Chicago Bulls fans, to the other Bulls fans out there, do not just buy a season ticket. I mean, don't buy a season ticket. But here's another thing: do not buy a Chicago Bulls jersey or anything related to the Chicago Bulls. Send a message to that ownership that you guys aren't going to put up with this garbage. You guys deserve way better than this.
Yes, indeed.
Period. End of quotation, end of story, end of rant, and the immoral words of Ren and Stimpy, to you two imbeciles, you idiots!
Yes. Yes, yes. 1,000 times yes. You guys made all the points for me. There will be no corner. There ain't going to be nothing anymore on that. So the only team that we're going to get
if anybody wants to talk to me about the Chicago Bulls, I'll just say, who?
Yeah. And
I'll act like they don't even exist.
And can we move on now?
Let's move on, because I am so freaking done with these Chicago Bulls and this ownership group. Because I'll tell you what, if we were to go on about it, my head would explode big time.
Yes, please. Let's just do that. And although I do have one, I got an even better use for MF's Bulls jersey. Next time you take a dump, wipe your ass with it. Simple as that, and then throw it in the garbage. So that's all I can say there.
Damn right with that.
So with all that being said, let's move on. Well, the next team was supposed to be your 3-time defending Eastern Conference champion Cleveland Cavaliers, but no bother, because they didn't make any picks. So we can move on from them. We don't even have to get into Cleveland. They're done. So automatic NA. So they're gone. So, and believe it or not, they're not the only team that didn't make any picks in this draft. So Cleveland, we can move on from you. So that's an automatic NA from all of us. So now let's get into our next team, and that is the Dallas Mavericks. And they had one pick, and they used it on Dennis Smith Jr. out of NC State. So, oh my gosh, I don't even remember who's supposed to start off on this one, because we got so caught up in all that nonsense.
It's you because I let off on the Bulls.
Yep, it goes to you, Anthony.
All right, it's me. All right, solid B. The Mavericks got an intriguing, if inconsistent, prospect in former NC State point guard Dennis Smith. If he develops well, he could become a difference maker. So short, sweet, to the point, solid B for Dallas in their pick of Dennis Smith Jr. So MF, if you're recovered from that, your thoughts on Dallas's pick of Dennis Smith Jr.
I thought this was a good pick. I could say a solid B. I don't have nothing bad to say about it. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it a solid B as well. I mean, I like the pick of Dennis Smith Jr. I mean, he's basically a mega athlete at the point guard who thrives in attacking the rim, and I like the idea of Smith in a spread pick and roll surrounded by, of course, Nerlens Noel, Dirk Nowitzki, and Harrison Barnes. So yeah, I like this pick. So it's a solid B. So that being said, let's just move on to the Denver Nuggets.
And the Denver Nuggets, with their selections, they picked Tyler Lydon out of Syracuse, Vlatko Kankar out of Megalex, and Monte Morris out of Iowa State. I believe it's MF who starts it off. So MF, how did the Denver Nuggets do in this NBA draft?
I thought they did pretty good. I don't think there was really much bad. I give this about a B minus. I think they could have done a little better, but I think with what they had and at the time that they did all the drafting, I got nothing bad to say. So B minus for me, fair enough. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I'll give it a solid B minus as well. I mean, yeah, I mean Tyler Lydon. I mean, he shot 40% from over three during his 2 years at Syracuse, so they're getting a good 3-point shooter. Monte Morris is a pure point guard who set assist to turnover records at Iowa State, and Yes, I mean, they probably didn't walk away with a game changer, but both guys could be rotation pieces. So, yeah, I mean, I think they could have done a little bit better. But all in all, I mean, it was good, not great. So it's a B minus for me. So, Florio, I give it to you.
Our first slight disagreement of the night. I'm going to go just a smidge lower. Solid C is my grade for this. Denver failed to trade for a difference-making veteran before or during the draft, and the selection of Syracuse's Tyler Lydon isn't exactly a tremendous consolation prize. However, he and second-round picks Vlatko Kankar and Monte Morris could prove to be solid role players, so it's a solid C for me. Slight disagreement, guys. I'm sorry. So with that being said, let's move on to our next team, and that is the Detroit Pistons, who are going to be moving into their brand-new Little Caesars Arena this season. Looking forward to seeing how that looks. Same with the Red Wings as well. Only one selection on their end, and it's someone that MF knows very well. Luke Kennard out of Duke. That's who the Detroit Pistons selected with the 12th pick in the first round. And it's Michael Bullock who starts it off. So Michael Bullock, Luke Kennard to the Detroit Pistons. What's the grade for that?
I'm going to give him a solid B here. I mean, some people say that he's probably the best shooter in the draft, and in Luke Kennard, some people say Stan Van Gundy might have found his next JJ Redick, and we all know how much of a good shooter JJ Redick is, especially from 3-point range. So I mean, who knows? Maybe they could have done something more. But other than that, I mean, I really like this pick, so it's a solid B for me. So, Florio, I give it to you.
Another slight disagreement, Bullock. It's a solid A for me. I actually love this pick. Former Duke guard Luke Kennard has been rising as of late, and the Pistons got good value by snagging him at number 12, an offensive boost. So, no doubt about it, it's a solid A for me. So MF, Luke Kennard, your former Dookie, going to Detroit. Detroit basketball. What do you say to that?
Good move. I liked it. I think it was a very good pickup for them. I agree. I could give this an all right. I can give this an A as well. Nothing bad to say whatsoever. I'm very happy with it. So yeah, let's just move on.
And we move on to your brand new, reigning and defending, undisputed, once again, NBA champion, Golden State Warriors. And the Warriors didn't have a pick, but they acquired the Chicago Bulls' 38th pick in the second round for cash. They chose power forward Jordan Bell out of Oregon. After the draft, the team signed Bell's former Oregon teammate, Chris Boucher, to a two-way contract. So this is another solid A for me. The Warriors already had the best roster in the NBA. Trading to acquire Bell makes it even stronger by giving the team another strong interior defender. So no question about this. It's a solid A for our once again NBA champs. So MF, how did our brand new NBA champs do with this? With those couple of Oregon guys coming in?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Another A for me as well. The Golden State just reloaded. They added more a really good defender, and the thing is, this was the one that Chicago had, and if they would have kept this pick, the rating would have been a lot more better. But because they traded it away for $3.5 million, that pretty much tells you everything you need to know about Chicago. So the Warriors made a great move there, then made another great move. So no, two Oregon players, nothing bad to say. Remember, Oregon to the Final Four this past year, so there's really nothing more to say. They did a really good job. A, nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, it's an A for me as well. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So I'm just gonna move on to you, Florio, and I think it's the Houston Rockets that's next.
Yes, it is. Only one selection from them. It came with the 43rd pick in the second round. Isaiah Hartenstein out of Zalgiris Kaunas, Lithuania. That is who Houston selected here. So, MF, what do we think of this pick for Houston? It was their lone pick.
Which team are we talking about now?
The Houston Rockets.
And who is their pick?
All right, I'll give you the schematic again. I'm sorry if you didn't hear it. They selected Isaiah Hartenstein out of Germany, Lithuania, Zalgiris Kaunas. He was the 43rd selection of the second round. Isaiah Hartenstein, power forward center.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know if this was a really good move or not. I kind of feel like this is kind of I don't want to say a great move, so I can only give this about a C. I'm sorry. I don't know much about him. I didn't really follow it that well. I don't know him very well. So whenever it's an international player, it's a little more difficult to judge. Sorry, guys. Houston, I don't mean no ill will, but that's just, whenever you draft somebody outside of the USA, it's a little more difficult. I got really nothing good to say about it. C is my grade, and I'm just being generous. So, Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
I'm gonna give it a B minus here. I mean, going into this, he was predicted to be a first round pick, but he went in the second round. He isn't likely to be a true difference maker, but Hartenstein, he does have the size to be an immediate contributor. So basically, there's really nothing more to say. So I'm going to give it a B minus as far as I'm concerned. So Florio, what's yours?
Well, we finally have ourselves a three-way disagreement here. That's good. B plus is actually going to be my grade for this. Germany's Isaiah Hartenstein came into Thursday night as a potential first-round pick. The Rockets landed him in the second round. He isn't a true difference maker, but Hartenstein has the size to be an immediate contributor. So I'm going to give it a B plus. I'll give it a chance. Why not? So that's all I can say there. So it's a B plus for Houston. Now we move on to the Indiana Pacers. 3 selections on there and here's who Indiana selected. TJ Leaf out of UCLA, IK Anigbogu also out of UCLA, and Edmund Sumner out of Xavier. Those were the selections. And Michael Bullock, I believe it's you who starts it off. So how did Indiana do in your eyes?
I'm going to give him a B here. TJ Leaf, he is a pure shooter who hit 46% of his threes while leading UCLA in scoring last season. Bogu was projected as a first rounder by everyone because of his shot blocking ability before slipping to round 2. So they got a good shooter who hit 46% of his threes. Bogu, who knows? He could be a really good defensive guy that can help improve them, especially with his shot blocking ability. He did slip to round 2, so who knows? I thought they did have it was like I think it's going to be the theme for me, a good but not a great draft. So it would be for me. Florio, what's yours?
Another slight disagreement. You gave it a solid B. This is a B plus once again for me. Indiana added a trio of solid prospects in TJ Leaf, IK Anigbogu, and Edmund Sumner. They also managed to hang on to Paul George, who may be used to acquire more assets before the offseason is over. And Leaf, and I don't know much about Leaf and Anigbogu because, as you know, I don't really, I like the Pac-12. I just don't follow it. But I do know a lot about Edmund Sumner. Out of Xavier. He was a beast at Xavier, let me tell you. And that's a damn good pick for Indiana. So I can vouch for Sumner for firsthand. Me being the Big East guy that I am, he had some great years at Xavier. And one of the reasons why Xavier was, one of those tournament mainstays they've been for so many years. So that's all I can say there. They also managed to hang on to Paul George. So yeah, this is a B plus for Indiana. So MF, your thoughts on the Indiana Pacers?
I can only give it a B. I'm sorry. I can't go the B plus level. Even though I do like the picks, I think they did a very good job. Um, but the thing is that I don't think Paul George is gonna stay relatively long. I kind of feel like he will be let go, or some other team will get him. If it's not now, it will be later. I just don't see Paul George being on the Indiana Pacers when the season begins. I would be stunned if he is, but deep down inside and in the back of my mind, I think this is going to be um goodbye for this is not going to be good. So I think it's a B for now. And then, like I said, I just don't believe they'll be there at the end. I think he'll be traded away or something like that, Paul George. So Indiana did all right, for at least draft wise, they did all right. I just don't know if I don't know what's going to be long term though. So let's just move on.
And we're going to Tinseltown. We're going to Hollywood for our next two teams. It's both of the Los Angeles teams, and we're going to start it off with the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers did not have a pick in the 2017 NBA draft, but they acquired the Philadelphia 76ers 39th pick and the Milwaukee Bucks 48th pick in the second round for cash. They chose shooting guard Sindarius Thornwell out of South Carolina and Jawan Evans out of Oklahoma State. Solid B for me. Guard Jawan Evans was a solid pick early in round 2. Trading for a pick to select former South Carolina standout Sindarius Thornwell may have been an even better move. Thornwell, as a rare 4-year player, is about as NBA ready as they come. And believe me, the three of us, we know all about Mr. Thornwell, don't we, guys? Because of South Carolina's Cinderella run in this year's NCAA tournament, going all the way to the Final Four before losing in the semifinal to Gonzaga. And I'll never forget it when we did that Strictly Sports show back in March, when we were actually doing commentary for that tournament action, that South Carolina game against Marquette. I mean, he was a beast in that. And then, of course, against MF's Dukies. Sorry to bring it up, MF, but it is what it is. But that Thornwell kid, oh man, he's going to be something. So, and we saw it firsthand on that night when we did the live commentary on the South Carolina and Marquette game. I'll never forget it. So that's how we know he's ready. And trust me, he will be ready. So Clippers, job, solid B, well done. So with that being said, MF, your thoughts on the Clippers?
Yeah, yes, solid B is what I'm gonna say. And no, I mean it they did pretty well. They did pretty well. They did very well. Yes, I know the South Carolina thing was a little bit of a drag for me, but they did it very well. I got nothing bad to say. This was a very good draft for them as well. So no, they definitely hit a home run. Let's move on. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a solid B as well. I mean, guard Jawan Evans was definitely a solid pick in round 2, and trading for a pick to select former South Carolina standout Sindarius Thornwell may have been even a better move. Thornwell, as a rare 4-year player, is about as NBA ready as they come. And yeah, and Jawan Evans at Oklahoma State. I mean, he drew Chris Paul comparisons all year at Oklahoma State while orchestrating the country's most efficient offense. Who better than to learn than, of course, from CP3 himself? So it's a solid B for me. So yeah, so let's now move on to that other LA team.
Yes, indeed, it's the Los Angeles Lakers, and they had 4 selections, and wow, what a draft this team had. Lonzo Ball out of UCLA. Of course, that means they get his daddy too. Oh boy, I don't envy you boys. Kyle Kuzma out of Utah, Josh Hart, Villanova, and Thomas Bryant out of Indiana. So, that little joke aside, MF, the Lakers, they got there, and what a draft they had. All 4 selections, really good.
Solid selections. I got nothing bad to say. They're all A levels. Lonzo Ball, that was expected. Even his father predicted it that the Lakers were going to take him. And you know what? All right, They went for the bluff. They called on the bluff and they went for it. And now, Lonzo Ball, you're the face of the franchise. D'Angelo Russell, who is the star point guard, is gone. Now it's you, my friend. You're got the ball. You got the Laker Nation on your side, and you better deliver. But you got Josh Hart from Villanova. Great pickup for the Lakers. I got nothing bad to say. A-level, one of the winners of the draft. Look, I know a lot of people were a little nervous about what the Lakers were going to do. But the thing was, if they didn't take Lonzo Ball, I don't know how bad that was going to slip, how that was going to cause the chaos in the draft. I think they just went with the safe pick, went with the number 2, and just went with the guy that they believe was the best available more than anything else. And I believe for once, the Lakers made a smart decision. And now, my opinion of LeVar Ball is a lot different than with Lonzo. Lonzo seems humbled. He seems very soft-spoken. And I think he's going to be a good player. I got nothing bad to say about him. Now, as far as LeVar Ball goes, look, he is way out there. He is definitely a guy that I think if this is an outrage segment tonight, and thank God there isn't, Michael Bullock would probably go on an epic rant right now about LeVar Ball because he's had a lot of things behind the scenes, a lot of negative things to say about this guy behind the scenes. And Anthony, you know that better than anybody else because we both have heard what Bullock had to say. And let me tell you, he did not mince words when he made his comments about him. But Lonzo, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because I think you are a good player. And I wish you nothing but the best, my friend. Good luck. Because to impress the Laker Nation is going to be real hard because they want that Showtime Lakers. The legendary Lakers from back in the day. Deliver it, my friend. But you got some very good guys to work with that's going to be working with you. So... And plus, I don't think the Lakers are done either. I think they're going to be making a big splash in free agency. Lonzo is just the first piece, but there's going to be some more pieces added to that team. I'm telling you right now, not next year, but maybe 2 years, 3 years down the line, look out. I think Showtime's coming back for the LA Lakers. Bad news for the Western Conference. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you. It's an A.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a solid A as well. I mean, I thought they had a really good draft. Of course, I mean, no doubt about Lonzo Ball and his abilities. Of course, he's a humble guy, and of course, not the same can be said about LeVar Ball. But other than that, with the other picks, I thought they were another one of the winners of this draft. So. Solid A for me. So Flory, what's yours?
We're back to unanimous. It's a solid A as well. The Lakers and Ball have seemed destined for each other for a while. However, just because Ball was the expected pick doesn't mean he wasn't also the smart pick. Adding shooting guard Josh Hart at the end of round 1 was another smart move for a franchise that finally seems to be moving back in the right direction. I could go on and on about Josh Hart because, Big East guy, Villanova. One of the reasons why Villanova won it all a couple of years ago in that unforgettable title game. So, yeah, you already know that story. So it is a solid A for the Los Angeles Lakers, no doubt about it. So now we move on to the Memphis Grizzlies. And, the Grizzlies did not have a pick in this NBA draft, but they acquired the Orlando Magic's 35th pick and the Houston Rockets' 45th pick. And they picked up shooting guard Dylan Brooks out of Oregon and power forward Ivan Robb out of California. So those are the picks. So I believe it's Bullock who starts it off. So yep. Michael Bullock, Memphis Grizzlies. What's their grade?
I'm going to give them a B-. I mean, there was really nothing flashy here. I mean, Memphis looked to supplement its current roster by adding a pair of forwards and Ivan Rabb and Dylan Brooks. Rabb could have been a lottery pick had he come out after his freshman season last year. He was projected as a first rounder all year, even after an uninspiring sophomore season at Cal. This could be a nice value for Memphis in the second round. So, yeah, so I'm going to give it a B minus here. So, Floria, what's yours?
Slight disagreement, Bullock. Solid B is my grade for Memphis. Solid B. Nothing flashy here. I agree. Memphis looked to supplement its current roster by adding a pair of forwards in Ivan Rabb and Dylan Brooks. According to ESPN.com's Mark Spears, Rabb nearly ended up with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I wonder what he's thinking right now. So think about that. He almost ended up with Cleveland, the 3-time defending Eastern Conference champs. Think about it. So it's a solid B for me when it comes to Memphis. So, MF, what says you?
I'll meet you there, guys. Solid B for me. I thought they did a very good job. I got nothing more to say, so let's just move on.
And we move on now to the Miami Heat. And the Miami Heat only had one selection. It came in the first round, the 14th pick, and they used it on Bam Adebayo out of Kentucky, power forward. And I started off here. Solid A. Miami managed to beef up its front court by adding Bam Adebayo to go along with Hassan Whiteside. This might not have been an eyebrow-raising addition, but it's a smart one. Solid A for the Miami Heat. So, MF, Adebayo and Whiteside together. That could be real.
That's scary. That's scary. Oh my goodness. That could be bad news for the rest of the Eastern Conference. Look, Miami came dangerously close to the playoffs last year. If it wasn't for a couple of games here and there, they probably would be in the postseason. And now here they are with Adebayo and Whiteside, and then they still got guys like Doran Dragic and some other pieces around them. Look out for Miami. I think they're going to playoff team next year, man. And so, Miami will be just fine next season. So, nothing more to say. Bullock, is yours.
Oh, what are we talking about again? Was it the Miami
Heat?
All right. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, solid A for me as well. So, you guys pretty much touched on it. So let's move on to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks. They had one pick, and that pick was used in the first round. It was the 17th pick, and they used it on DJ Wilson, a power forward out of Michigan. However, they also got an unsigned draft pick, selecting Sterling Brown out of SMU. So coupling both of those picks together, MF, the Milwaukee Bucks draft grade for this year is?
I'm going to give this about a B. I mean, I don't think it was really a flashy or amazing or anything like that. I don't know about the undrafted signing. I think that's kind of a little bit of a reach. So as far as the original draft pick goes, I'll give it a solid B and really nothing more to say. So Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it's a B for me. I mean, I really don't know that much about this guy, the signing there. I mean, I do agree it could be a little bit of a reach here. So, yeah, but the DJ Wilson guy, I mean, I really like. I mean, he has a diverse skill set for power forward. So, yeah, so it's a B for me. Floria, what's yours?
Solid B as well. The Bucks got themselves an intriguing prospect in Michigan's DJ Wilson, an athletic big man with upside, and getting Sterling Brown from SMU is another move that could pay off. So, solid B indeed for the Milwaukee Bucks. Now I think we're about to get into quite arguably the winners of this NBA draft this year, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They had one pick. They used it on Justin Patton, a center out of Creighton, 16th pick in the first round. But what happened is they got Jimmy Butler from the Chicago Bulls. Okay. Let me see.
I think it's my turn.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it is you, Bullock. Yeah, you're right. You're right. All right,
It's
Michael
Bullock.
Yep. All right,
Yep.
Michael Bullock. Minnesota Timberwolves. Are they the big winners of this NBA draft?
Yeah, damn right they are the big winners of this draft. A+ for me. I mean, the fact the team was able to get back the 16th pick and turn it into Justin Patton makes it look like a masterwork. And of course, getting Jimmy Butler in that trade, basically, they stole Jimmy Butler from the Bulls. So yeah, so to me, they are the solid winners of this draft. Even though it was only one pick, but it was that trade that really made them look like winners. So A+ for me. Florio, what's yours?
Boycott the Chicago Bulls. MF and I might have to become Minnesota Timberwolves fans from now on. I can get with that. As we jump off the Bulls bandwagon. A+. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, Bullock touched on everything. Minnesota absolutely stole Butler from the Bulls. The fact that they were able to get that 16th pick and have it and end up getting Justin Patton, that, yes, you're absolutely right, Bullock. It is indeed a masterwork. No question about it. So I would be surprised if there's another team that ended up being better in this draft than they were. So no question about it. One of the big winners, if not the biggest winner of this NBA draft, no doubt about it. A+, Minnesota Timberwolves. We salute you. MF, Minnesota, they got our man.
Yeah, they got Jimmy Butler. That was a big deal. Then they got Patton right behind that too, with the 16th pick, which was Chicago's original pick. No, they did a great job with this. They absolutely hit a home run here. Nothing bad to say about it. Minnesota pulled the heist of the century, and they're walking away, like you said, one of the big winners, if not the biggest winner of the NBA draft last night. Nothing bad to say. Congratulations. And it's upward and onward. So, yeah. Anthony, let's move on.
And we move on to the New Orleans Pelicans. New Orleans Pelicans, before Wednesday, the Pelicans entered the draft with only one second-round pick, as they had traded their own first-round pick away to the Sacramento Kings on the night after the 2017 NBA All-Star Game, alongside rookie Buddy Hield, Tyreek Evans, Langston Galloway, and the Philadelphia 76ers' original second-round pick in a blockbuster move for star center DeMarcus Cousins and Omri Caspi. On Wednesday, however, the Pelicans acquired the Washington Wizards' second-round pick at number 52 in exchange for guard Tim Frazier. As a result, the Pelicans entered draft night with 2 second-round picks after all, yet with no first-round pick. And that second-round pick they used on another Dookie, Frank Jackson, a point guard, and there it is. So Frank Jackson selected by New Orleans, and I believe I start this off. It's a solid B. New Orleans did some maneuvering in the draft before finally trading to acquire Duke product Frank Jackson. He isn't likely to wow many folks coming out of college, but Jackson was a solid role player for the Blue Devils. So solid B for New Orleans. So MF, another one of your former Dukies, Frankie Jackson going to New Orleans. How do you feel about it?
I don't mind it. I thought they did a good job. I don't know if this is what we would call a major win, but I thought they did a good job. It was a solid thing to say. And like you said, I agree with you. I think it is you know, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna say it. Yes, I do believe it is a B, and there's really nothing more to say. So Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna give it a solid B as well. I mean, like you said, they did do some maneuvering in the draft before finally training to get Frank Jackson. He isn't likely to wow many folks coming out of college, but Jackson was a solid role player for the Blue Devils. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say here. So it's it's a B for me. So let's move on to the New York Knicks.
And they had 3 selections, and they selected Frank Ntilikina out of SIG Strasbourg, France, Damian Dotson out of Houston, and Adnan Yaramaz out of Mega BMAX, Serbia. MF, the New York Knicks, I guess they have a thing for foreign big men now, don't they?
Yeah, they do. You know what? I gotta give this a D. I did not like the Knicks. I'm sorry. I did not like what New York was doing. I think that was it. What they did in this draft was downright horrible. I mean, I cannot even remotely try to say or even save this. I just thought they had a horrible draft. I'm sorry. Just my thoughts alone. Um, I don't know what else there is to say. So yeah, I'm just gonna move on. Michael Bullock, D for me.
D minus for me. I mean, I did not like this pick at all. I mean, now you can see why Stephen A. Smith has obviously been so critical of Phil Jackson with the way he runs that team, and now I can see why these Knicks fans are really starting to become impatient. And this pick here really solidifies it. So once again, I mean, they make themselves look like a bunch of idiots for making this pick. And this is why I say that I'm going to say this right now. Phil Jackson was better as a coach than he is as a team president. So D minus for me. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, about D minus. That's about right. I think solid. I think solid D. No, I'm gonna make that a D minus. I'm gonna go with you, Bullock. Second worst draft of any team. I mean, if Chicago didn't stink up the joint, they would have had the worst. They would have been the biggest loser of this draft, but they're the second biggest loser. They chose to pass on guys like Malik Monk and Dennis Smith in order to grab Ntilikina at number 8 overall. Risky pick. The only upside is the former Frenchman fits, I guess, what the team needed to add. And Dotson and Yaramaz, they're both likely projects. So, yeah, that's all I can say there. So, I was going to give it a solid B, but after what these guys just said, I can't argue with it. So, D minus is going to be my grade. I mean, you had a chance to get Monk. You could have even gone for Smith, but you instead go for this unproven guy. Yeah, that was smart. All right. Let's move on. Oklahoma City Thunder's next. 1 pick. They used it on Terrence Ferguson out of the Adelaide 36ers. So, Michael Bullock, how did you like this selection for OKC?
Okay, give me just a minute here. I'm going to give him a B plus on this one. Credit the Thunder for going bold with the selection of Terrence Ferguson. He is raw and probably won't make an impact in the near future, but he does have incredible upside. So, so to me, I think it's a. I'm going to say anyway. You know what? I'm actually going to say B plus from. It's a B plus for me. So, Flory, what's yours?
B plus as well. I mean, you pretty much made the point for me. I mean, it was a bold selection. He is raw. I agree. He's probably not going to make an impact in the near future, but he does have incredible upside. He's got potential. So I'll give OKC a B plus for selecting Mr. Ferguson out of the Adelaide 36ers. So, MF, is it unanimous, or do you have another grade? What?
B plus. I agree with you guys. I think there's really nothing more to say. I really got nothing else to add. So let's just move on to the next team.
And that is the Orlando Magic. And the Orlando Magic, 2 picks, and they selected Jonathan Isaac out of Florida State and Wesley Iwundu out of Kansas State. And I believe I start this off. Solid B. the Magic got themselves a quality defender in Jonathan Isaac. He can immediately contribute on that end of the court, even if his offense needs some work. Adding Wesley Iwundu was also a solid, if unspectacular, move. So that's pretty much my 2 cents on Orlando. So solid B for the Orlando Magic. MF, what says you?
Solid B again. I think Orlando did a very good job. When you got a guy like Jonathan Isaac, especially the with the first round in the first round. I mean, good player. I don't think he's gonna be that big of a role player. I mean, he did average about 12 points per game, 7 rebounds. So I mean, he definitely is a little bit of a streaky player. The one thing that I would probably say is that he is small. He has a thin frame, but he is a good rebounder, good shot blocker. I think that's one thing that you're really going to like about him. But, I mean, and he does have a really good jumper. He's reliable on the jumper. So basically, anything outside of the paint, he'll put up. And he's a good long-range shooter. So, I mean, that's one thing that, like, B plus, I should say. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it's a solid B for me as well. So there's really nothing more to say. So let's move on to the Philadelphia 76ers.
And MF will start off on that, but let me give you the picks. They had the number 1 overall pick. They traded that. They acquired it in a trade with the Celtics, and they got their man. They got Markelle Fultz out of Washington. They also selected Andrzej Pasek-Nicks out of CB Gran Canaria, Jonah Bolden out of KKFMP Beograd. They did have Sterling Brown out of SMU, but of course he went, I believe, to Milwaukee. And they also selected Matthias Lasorte out of Nanterre 92 in France. So with all that being said, MF, the Philadelphia 76ers, they wanted number 1. They traded up. They got number 1 from Boston. They got their man. Did it pay off?
Yes. 1,000 times. Yes. A for me, one of the winners of the draft. I loved what Philadelphia did. Philadelphia, you're back. Welcome to the NBA. Welcome. Look, you're going to still struggle. You're going to be, you got the feeling that you're going to be somewhat, I'm not going to say you're going to be mediocre, but you're going to be a little bit relevant. Give it the 3 to 5 year plan. You guys are going to be a threat. You guys are going to be awesome. And this is going to be the glory days of Philly again. I got a good feeling about it. Just me and me alone, just my thoughts. But I got to give this an A. I love what Philadelphia did. I don't see anything bad, especially when you get the number 1 overall. You wanted Markelle Fultz. Since the day that you found out that you had the number 3 pick, you've been working the phones, you worked your due diligence, you knew you wanted Markelle the whole time, and you did your homework. This is the start of a good thing. And when you got Brian Colangelo, one of the best executives in the NBA, remember what he did with the Toronto Raptors and how great he was, or when he was the reason why the Phoenix Suns, during the time when he had Amari Stoudemire and Steve Nash, and look how great those teams were back in the day. I'm telling you right now, Philadelphia is going to be that team down the line. They're going to be amazing, and I cannot believe they pulled it off, man. A for me. I love what Philly did. Another winner in last night's draft. Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid A as well. I mean, the Philadelphia deserves credit for going up and getting its man. There's no telling yet if Fultz will be the best player out of this draft class, but the 76ers did what they needed to get the best player for them. So it's an A for me. Florio, what's yours?
A as well. Originally, I was going to give it a B plus, but after MF, I'm not going to argue with Mr. NBA. No way. I'll lose handily. So I better make this an A, or else I'll get smoked. So I'll make it an A. Bullock pretty much said what I pretty much had my trade of thought. Philly, they deserve all the credit in the world for going up and getting their man. I mean, the only thing is there's no telling yet if Markelle Fultz will be the best player out of this draft class. But the Sixers did what they needed to do to get the best player for them. So it's as simple as that. So now we move on to the Phoenix Suns. And the Phoenix Suns, 3 draft picks. And they selected Josh Jackson out of the University of Kansas, Davon Reed out of the Miami Hurricanes, and Alec Peters out of Valparaiso. So that was that. I believe it's Bullock who starts it off. So Michael Bullock, Phoenix Suns, what's their grade?
It's an A for me. That I thought the Phoenix Suns had a good draft. So yeah, grabbing Josh Jackson at number 4 was a veritable no-brainer. The Suns then doubled up by adding another tough defender in Davon Reed. Adding Alec Peters late in round 2 was smart. So, yeah, so definitely it was a good draft for them. And, I mean, it's not going to help them improve to be a good team right away, but I think they're taking a step in the right direction. So it's an A for me. Florio, what's yours?
Solid A as well. I agree with everything Bullock said, so I'm not going to beat around the bush. So it's a solid A for me. Bullock pretty much made my points for me. So MF, Phoenix Suns, your thoughts?
It's an A. I agree with both your sentiments. I think they've done a very good job. I don't think there was really anything bad that Phoenix did. They're definitely working their way to try to become a playoff team. I don't think they will, but I know they're going to try their best to get there. Let's see what they do next season. I think they're going to have a really good run here. It's going to be very interesting to see what type of look we're going to get. But, for me, very impressive, great performance, and I'm very happy with what they've done. So, yeah, no doubt about it. I'm going to say it, Philly. Oh, I should say Phoenix. Sorry. Phoenix. Well done, guys, and I'm very, very pleased with your performance.
All right, and we move on now to the Portland Trailblazers, and they had 2 picks. They selected Zach Collins out of Gonzaga and Caleb Swanigan out of Purdue. It's a B- for me. Zach Collins is an intriguing prospect with some upside, but the Trailblazers paid way too much to move up and grab him. Adding Caleb Swanigan, however, was the better value pick. So it's a B- for the Portland Trailblazers. So MF, what says you?
B- to a C. I mean, I'm gonna be lenient and give them the B-, but I'm leaning a little bit towards the C and disagreeing with you, Anthony. But I thought it was okay. One good one, I didn't really know. I didn't really like that, but it is what it is. So yeah, B- to a C is my rating. So Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it's a B- for me as well. So yeah, you guys pretty much touched on everything. So yeah, so let's move on to the Sacramento Kings.
Another one of the big winners of the NBA draft. Then again, you can make an argument that this was the big winner of the NBA draft. I mean, look at who they picked up. De'Aaron Fox out of Kentucky, Justin Jackson from your national champion North Carolina Tar Heels, Harry Giles out of Duke, and Frank Mason III from Kansas. Whoa, MF, Sacramento. We got another candidate for the biggest winner of the draft.
The most star-studded lineup that I've seen in a long time. One of those that you just don't understand it. But you know what? I got to tell you, the scouting from Sacramento, the management, Lavi Divac, and them boys, man, we've been ripping Sacramento for a number of years. And we've been poking fun at them, saying how much of a joke of a franchise they are. But I will say this. If any of these guys pan out and become all-stars, we're going to come back to this moment and we're going to say, Sacramento, you guys were amazing. I don't think there's one bad thing that I saw with this team, and they're all studs. And that's the thing. From beginning to end, they nailed it. I mean, there's really nothing more to say. A+ for the Sacramento Kings. Other than the Minnesota Timberwolves, just on drafting alone, minus the trade, they are the big winners of the NBA draft. I think they did a phenomenal job, and I'll even give it the glorious seal of approval. Like that? Like that? I knew you did. All right, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, Fletcher made a lot of good points there, so I think it's an A+ as well, and I think based on just drafting people, I think they're the winners of this NBA draft, because we addressed Minnesota as the winners only because of that Jimmy Butler trade and the one pick they got. But based on everything draft pick wise, I think they're the winners of this NBA draft. So A+ for me. Flory, what's yours?
Solid A. That's where I'm going. The Kings landed one of the better offensive prospects in Kentucky's De'Aaron Fox. In addition, they added a volume of talent in Justin Jackson, Harry Giles, and Frank Mason. No doubt about it. This is a solid A for the Sacramento Kings. Another one of the big winners of this NBA draft, without question. And now we move on to our good friend Alex Zapata's team, the San Antonio Spurs. And they had 2 picks, and here's who they used for them. They selected Derek White out of Colorado and Jaron Blossomgame out of Clemson. Michael Bullock, San Antonio's draft grade based on those picks is what?
It's an A. It's an A for the San Antonio Spurs. Per usual, the Spurs drafted non-flashy but system-smart players in Derek White and Jaron Blossomgame. Given the team's track record, it wouldn't be a shock to see one of the two become a future star. So, yeah, so it's a solid A for me. I mean, this is why the San Antonio Spurs, they've been one of the most successful franchises in the NBA just because of what they do. So it's an A for me. Florio, it's yours.
Solid A. And Michael Bullock, once again, you made my points for me. So A+ and solid A, and Derek White and Jaron Blossomgame system picks, and I could definitely see one of these two guys becoming a big star in the future, no doubt about it. So solid A for me. So MF, what says you? I'm very curious to know what Alex thinks about the picks.
I haven't gotten a chance to talk to him, so I would not know for sure, but I will say this. For me personally, it is another A. San Antonio, they know how to work the draft. That's the one thing. I'm going to say it, and I don't know how you're going to feel about this, but can I just say for the record, I think they're like the New England Patriots. It doesn't matter who they draft, they just know how to fit the system. And when they put it all together, it looks amazing. There's really nothing more to say. For me, it's an A. Congratulations, San Antonio. You did it again. Anthony, it's all yours.
All right. We only have 2 teams left. Technically 3. But the final team did not make any picks. So we're going to move on now to the Toronto Raptors. And the Toronto Raptors 1 pick. And that 1 pick, what came in the first round, pick number 23. And the Raptors selected OG Anunoby out of Indiana. Based on this pick alone, I'm going to give it a B+. The Raptors took a risk with OG Anunoby, but if he returns to 100% health, he could prove to be a steal. Think about it. So it's a B+ for this. So, MF, how do you feel about OG Anunoby going to Toronto?
You know what? I'm going to say this. It is a B. I'm not going to deny that. I'm a little concerned though. Because he did suffer. I think it was a leg injury. I think it was an Achilles. So that's why you got a little concerned. And yes, this is a buyer's beware because this is why he dropped because this guy is a top 10 talent. This guy's a lottery pick in my eyes. For him to drop where he dropped because of the injury, I think that's where the concern comes in because I'm going to say this. This was one that originally a lot of people thought he was going to land in Chicago. OG Abanobi, a lot of people in their mock drafts actually had him going to Chicago at 16. So, I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. I wish nothing but the best for him. I hope he stays healthy because if he does, Toronto's already a very strong team. It's just, can they, you put another piece like that together, look out. I think we're going to have some fun here, but we'll see. So nothing more to say. B plus, Michael Bullock, go.
Yeah, it's a B plus for me as well. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. So Florio, let's move on to what really is the final team because, like you said, the last team actually had no selections.
And it's our good friend Al Bradison's team, the Utah Jazz, and but the Utah Jazz, 3 selections. They selected Donovan Mitchell out of Louisville, Tony Bradley from your national champion North Carolina Tar Heels, and Nigel Williams-Goss from the runner-up Gonzaga Bulldogs. So I believe MF leads off on our final team. So how should our good friend Al Bradison feel about Utah's draft?
I like it. Especially the final 2 picks. Those were great picks for Utah. I'm going to say it. A. I got to give this an A. I thought they did a very good job. I thought they were solid. Like I said, the final 2 picks really, really, really hit home runs, especially when you get a team of one from the defending national champion North Carolina and the national runner-up in Gonzaga. Yeah, no, I definitely liked it. I thought they did a really great job. To me, congratulations, Al Bradison. You guys made the playoffs last year. I think just on the drafting alone, you guys should be in a good position. Now it's just upward and onward. So congratulations. Well done. And yeah, A for me, Michael Bullock, I give it to you.
It's an A for me as well. The Jazz beefed up their backcourt depth in picking up Donovan Mitchell and Nigel Williams-Goss, and they also got a promising young prospect in Tony Bradley to spell Rudy Gobert. Ultimately, the Jazz filled some needs with solid players. So, yeah, I mean, they were a playoff team this year, and with this team, with these picks they got, I think they're only just going to get better and better. So, it's an A for me. Florio, what's yours?
I'll wrap it up. Solid A. No doubt about it. Bullock, you made the point for me once again. So they beefed up the backcourt by getting Mitchell and Williams-Goss. I mean, Williams-Goss, I got to tell you, the main reason why one of the main reasons why Gonzaga had that magical run this past year, not only getting the number 1 seed, but also going all the way to the national championship game for the first time in school history, nearly winning it, but Carolina ultimately was just too much. But Bradley is a young prospect, promising young prospect, and him and Gobert should be fun to watch. And Utah had some needs to fill, and they filled them with solid players. You're absolutely right. So solid A. There is one team left, the Washington Wizards. Well, no selections. They had no selections, just like Cleveland. So automatic NA across the board here. So, gentlemen, we're done. That's it. NBA Draft Recap Edition of Strictly Sports over for this night. So we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. So we're going to do our shout outs now. And Bullock, I see your mic is off, so I'll let you take it for a spin first.
All right. Of course, we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in for this NBA Draft Recap edition of Strictly Sports here on this Friday night. Of course, shout outs to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it's this or Ridiculously Raw or the Cerebral Smack Talk. I mean, we couldn't do this show without you, without you guys' love and support. And yeah, definitely keep it up. And of course, shout outs to all of our super fans out there. You guys know who you are. So all of our friends from our high school days, you guys know who you are. So our news personalities from 6, 10, and 12. Our personalities from ESPN, Fox Sports, NBA TV, NFL Network, NHL Network, MLB Network, of course, just Data Sorrell and Lindsay McCormick, and of course our friends from the Road Show, of course, the former co-hosts Mary Larson and Megan Mooney, of course the three current people, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for me. So until Monday night for an all new edition of Ridiculously Raw, this is Mike Bullock saying thank you all so very much for tuning in. And of course, you know the routine. Yeah, throw it up, won't you, for style. Bye for now, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. So, Fletch, I give it to you.
Yes, indeed. First off, thank you to all the great fans out there for making this show as amazing as it is. You guys are the best fans in the world. And then on top of that, to the super fans out there, you guys know who you guys are. My friends in the junior high and high school days, you guys know who you guys are. 2184 crew, love you guys to death. And that's really it. So I want to say thank you to everybody. You know the routine, hugs and hand pounds. I'm out. Good night. Anthony, take it home.
All right, we'll do, MF. Of course, special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Of course, a special shout out to the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, and the entire Woodson family. I know Dee Dee Woodson's been battling headaches all week. Hopefully, she'll be ready to go for Ridiculously Raw Monday night. We pray for that. So let's keep Dee Dee Woodson in our prayers as she continues to recover from that. Of course, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, our first ladies, Kaiser Butler, our other first ladies, I should say, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and of course, Lexi Calloway, who celebrated a birthday this past week. So a special happy birthday shout out to Lexi Calloway, and hopefully we can get her back on the Wrestling Forum in the future, whether it's Ridiculously Raw or the Cerebral Smack Talk. We'll see if we can get her on in the near future. I know she's been crazy busy, but it is what it is. Of course, all of our other crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, who we're hoping to get for our mega fight preview shows in the future. Of course, our good friend Al Bradison and Rob Parsons. And, of course, last but not least, the man who puts it all together, the man himself, the one and only Derek Ferreira, Boston Sports Fan 84. Check out his videos. I mean, the last couple of weeks, he has been absolutely killing it. And I look forward to seeing what he has in store for us in the future in the world of professional wrestling and sports. So he gave some brief draft thoughts earlier today. So give that a whirl if you can. Of course, all of our personalities from 6, 10, and 12, they know who they are. ESPN, Fox Sports 1, MLB Network, NHL Network, and NBA TV, NFL Network, the whole 9 yards. My good friends, Chantel McKay from the Golf Channel, Julie Alexandria, Stata Sorrell, Lindsay McCormick. Of course, our friends from the Road Show, Will Gilbert, Brendan Kirby, and Michaela Johnson. And the former co-host, Megan Mooney, Mary Larson. And, of course, last but not least, my wonderful church family over at Oasis of Grace Ministries on 464 Silver Spring Street in Providence. If you need a church home, check them out. Exit 25 off Route 95. Some of my church family members and I are going on an outreach later today. Looking forward to that. And then, of course, Sunday morning Bible study at 9 a.m. and Sunday morning service around 10 or so. And then Wednesday night Bible study at 7. A special Friday night service next week. Guest speaker coming in. Looking forward to hearing what he has to say. And then a very special day on Sunday, July 2nd. That same guest speaker is going to be coming back on Sunday morning, and and then a very special church picnic going down after service. Looking forward to that. So very exciting stuff going down. Looking forward to it all. So looking forward to seeing all of them and enjoying ourselves. It's going to be a blessing. I know that for a fact. So that's it for shout outs. Of course, future content, it's coming up. Next time we'll see you will be Monday night, immediately following Raw. We got Ridiculously Raw as we continue on the road to Great Balls of Fire. And this Raw will be at Staples Center in Los Angeles. And, of course, we will have the Universal Champion himself, Brock Lesnar. Lesnar's in the house. Him and Joe. Oh, boy. If you thought that first get-together was explosive, who knows what they're going to have in store for us this time around.
Well, I can tell you, Kurt Angle is going to make sure that what happened a couple of weeks ago doesn't happen this time around.
I'm sure it won't. So we'll see what happens with that. And some great action, of course. And like I said, we'll be continuing on the road to Great Balls of Fire from Monday Night Raw.
And, of course, the fallout from the Enzo and Cass breakup.
Yes, indeed. Enzo and Cass, we know that story. So much to get into. We'll get into that Monday night. And that'll be at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. That's going to be exciting. I already know that for a fact. And hopefully it'll be another great show like they had this past week. I mean, that was a damn good show they put together this past week. Hopefully we get another damn good show. And, of course, I'll also give you my latest Tony's take on 205 Live and Impact Wrestling. And then Tuesday night at either 10 or 10:30 over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, we got Cerebral Smack Talk. We're going to review SmackDown Live, a loaded SmackDown Live. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match rematch. Of course, we're going to have Naomi
and pray to God that it's a better ending than we had at Money in the Bank.
Oh, I think it will be, especially with Ellsworth banned from ringside. Oh, yeah.
Yep, I was about to say that it's definitely going to be a lot different this time around. We're going to guarantee a winner this time around.
Yep. So that women's Money in the Bank ladder match, Naomi and Lana for the women's championship, Baron Corbin against Sami Zayn, and the Hype Bros will be going up against the Usos in a non-title match. So we're going to get into all of that on the Cerebral Smack Talk, our review of SmackDown Live at either 10 or 10:30 Tuesday night. And, of course, Mikey's Mindset, Lucha Underground, some other things. The Cueto Cup continuing on in Lucha Underground. And then next Friday night, Strictly Sports. What's going to be on the docket? I don't know. The only thing I do know is we will have the return of the Major League Baseball Power Rankings. And I'll tell you right now, if we were doing the Power Rankings this week, the LA Dodgers would have been our number one team, hands down. So that's all I can say there. So that's it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Flair here. For Good Old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit, Derek Ferreira and Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching this very special edition of Strictly Sports, our 2017 NBA Draft Recap right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. For now, Anthony Florio. So long.